In a time before me, when Cubeland was very young, Greg, then a wild wolf, raided the rabbit kingdoms. Professor Lapenfield, a wise old wizard, tamed the wolf and brought him to Ada. But before that, the rabbits were scattered, frightened, and without homes. Lapenfield worked with the bunnies, rebuilt their kingdoms, and left behind this travelogue.
The white bunnies. The white rabbits were peaceful, the gentlest of all, especially the little ones. Just showing them their homes made them dash straight to their elders. Some, lost in the woods, were a little anxious. I gently stroked their fur, whispered kind words, and watched them trot home, their ears flicking in relief. The elder whites. The elder whites were more difficult. They were peacemakers by nature, and having lost their way for so long, they had also lost hope. I used the Rise Up spell to stir their spirits. Softly, gently, with music and light. Some followed quickly. Others needed coaxing more than once. But when they were finally together, something wonderful happened. They smiled, and they promised to help me in my work. The messengers. The messengers were close friends of the white elders. They played hide and seek most of the time. They were still playing. With the white elders back home, they came out of the woods looking for them. It was a strange, funny game they played. The whites would hide until the messenger came looking. The messenger would desperately roam around his kingdom looking for his friend. "Are you here? Are you here?" The white elders hid with a sly grin, teasing their friend. Receiving no answer, the messenger friend turned sad, his ears dropped. But just when the messenger left to a foreign land, the white elders would jump out. The messengers jumped back and white, rebounded, to another corner of Cubeland. They would then join, have a carrot picnic at the new place, and return home. I sat under a tree, playing music, smiling to myself. Pure joy. With the messengers and elders reunited, rebuilding began. Especially between kingdoms, peace spread like spring. The naive pranksters, the yellow bunnies. The yellow ones were pranksters. They always came up with creative tricks and pranks. The little yellows, pursued by their masters, would always be a step ahead. We had to get them back home as well. So we put a plan to bring the yellow bunnies back home. The yellow bunnies, being fearless, would hide in the deep underwoods. The little yellow bunnies had seen the messengers with their masters. They trusted only them among us. With Greg by my side, it was easier to surprise them and ward them off their little pranks. We formed a team. Me, Greg, along with a team of Peacemaker and his messenger bunny from the west, took them on. The bunnies would sometimes form a team of two and defend my Rise Up spell. But finally we isolated them and brought them all to listen to us. We had a little meeting with the naive yellows at the oak tree, at the banks of Carota River. They were sad they could not get back to their homes. They promised to work with us if we could get them home. We all had been at the same purpose, getting the yellow bunnies home. Getting the yellows back home. We first got one of them home, but our plans often failed. The mischief masters would make sure there was only one back home and the rest doing some prank in another corner. The white elder and his messenger bunny, from the east, decided they would patrol and work with each kingdom to bring the rest of the yellow bunnies home. They would start each day, go to each kingdom, and try to find each yellow bunny its home. The yellow bunnies, still being influenced by the masters, would sometimes pair up, and work against us. It took a few long trips, but finally, all yellow bunnies were home as well. The Masters of Mischief. Now, we had most bunnies in our side. They all wanted to go about the old peaceful ways and less chaos. All, except the Masters of Mischief, were happy. The Mischief Masters, however, kept plotting. Most of the time, we could not find them in their homes. They kept hopping between their homes, trying to influence the little yellows back to their games. If we managed to get them to their homes, we could reason with them. We already had all their neighbors, the little yellows and the messenger bunnies on our side. But we need something more, a more powerful spell, the puppet spell. Just as we worked magic on the little yellows, our friends from east and west, the messenger bunnies and their friends, guardians of peace, together worked like little puppets, rising up and traveling corners, trying to find the Mischief Masters back to their homes. Every day, both teams would travel up to the distant corners of east and west, and by evening, they would come back to report and check if the Masters were home. Finally, we got one back home. We kept him tranced as our right-hand bunny, for he knew where the others were. In a couple of days, we had all the Mischief Masters back in their homes. The twisted minds never stopped. They still continued planning escapes and pranks. The Carrot Party. We talked at length about how to calm the Mischief Masters, how to remind them of the good old days, when they built the first farming tools, crafted little machines to dig burrows, and carved out the canals. A time of peace, unity, and harmony. Then, the little yellow bunnies let us in on a secret. The Masters loved lavish carrot parties, and so we decided to throw them one. I used rare herbs from the distant ashen burrows to prepare a magical soup, an exclusive recipe once made only for the Masters. While the 4 Guardians of Peace practiced their moves, the messengers were sent out, hopping fast and far, to invite every creature to the celebration. At last, the day arrived. They came in families, gathering in the mystical underground garden, where giant carrot flowers bloomed in glowing soil. The air was thick with the scent of soup, warm and sweet. It made their mouths water. One by one they came to the buffet. The Guardians of Peace greeted them with ladles of the special carrot soup and invited them to play musical chairs. As the music began, I whispered the Rise Up spell in the ancient tongue of Ada. Before they realized, the Mischief Masters were under the trance of the spell, and they awakened to the sense of peace and happiness after a long while. And soon, the laughter began. They played, they danced, they cheered with their fellow bunnies. In those moments of joy, the past mischief melted away. The party ended with everyone returning home, hearts full and spirits high. Even the Mischief Masters stayed behind. They offered to help rebuild Cubeland, bringing new inventions, clever tools and ideas to make burrow life even better. Harmony had returned. As for Greg the Wolf, he became obsessed with the ashen spices. The bunnies were kind enough to help us gather more before we returned to Ada. And me. One day, I'll return, just for a bowl of that unforgettable carrot soup in the strange, magical land of bunnies.
The Legend of Lapenfield is now available on leading online bookstores. For those who still believe in scrolls, magic, and bunnies, this tale is waiting. Printed editions can be ordered through Amazon. You'll find the links in the description below. Also available now, Solving the Rubik's Cube, the Bunny Tail Way. A magical, story-based guide that teaches young children how to solve the cube, not through formulas, but through friendship, play, and imagination. With every turn, your child learns not just how, but why. It's cubing made joyful. Find it online or in the description below.